equation, we were discussing about this question, I guess. Right? You write a program to calculate the roots of a quadratic equation. Right? Consider all possible cases. And I guess I had told you also about that. All the three possible cases. Isn't it? Just quick confirmation.
Yes, sir.
Like we will accept the coefficients A, B and C. Three coefficients of your quadratic equation. Then we'll calculate D, which is B square minus 4AC. Right? The D, which is B square minus 4AC. And then cases are there. Whether that D is 0, D is greater than 0 or D is less than 0. And based on that, your solutions will be there, x1 and x2. And then you'll display those solutions, right? Whatever the value of x1 has come and x2. So we will quickly write code for this. We'll create a file for this. We'll save it in our folder basic python 8 suppose. Okay, it is exercise 2 10 I guess, 10th question. Okay, now we will accept that coefficients A, B and C. Int input, enter A, or more detail if you want, enter coefficient A, enter coefficient B. You can give it in detail. Enter C. Right? So the three variables are there. Right? The first input, second input, third input, and that will come in ABC. Okay. Now we'll calculate D, which is B square. Now B square you could have written B into B also, or B double star 2. Both operators are there. 4AC. Okay? Till here I hope it is clear. Now you'll check whether that D is 0. If D is 0, then your both the solutions are going to be same. That is minus B upon 2A. But just put 2A bracket. If you don't put 2A bracket, so what is going to happen you know now. Division and multiplication both are having same precedence. Division and multiplication same. So associativity will take place, left to right. So what it will do, it will first divide B by 2, and whatever answer will come, that it will multiply with A. So which will go wrong. Getting? Actually we have to divide by twice A. So I am putting this in bracket. So both the solutions are same because D is 0. Now ELF. If D is greater than 0, then first solution is minus B minus and plus both, minus B plus square root of D. So to find square root of D you can use math module. I guess I have told you. No or yes? How to import a module.
Yes.
I told, no?
Yes.
Then alias, how you can create as, then from. All that things last time or maybe in some lecture, but I have told you, I'm sure about it. So if you want to use it, do it, or you can do it this way also. D double star 0.5. Is it the same thing? D double star 0.5 means D raised to 0.5. So anything raised to 0.5 means that square root only, no? It's a basic maths rule, no? Whenever you write square root of 6, so is it same as 6 raised to half? Six raised to half is same as square root of 6. Yes, no? Yes or no? Just give confirmation.
Yes, sir.
Then minus b minus square root of d divided by 2a. These two roots are also done. And now last else means obviously it is negative. It's not 0, it's not positive, so it's negative. So in that case we have to find two complex numbers. Okay? They are conjugate of each other. So they are real part, they are imaginary part. Suppose I'm taking this as a real part. Real part will be minus b upon 2a, and imaginary part will be square root of, okay, minus d. Why? Because d is already negative. Is d already negative? Yes or no? So negative will be positive. Raised to 0.5 divide by 2a. These two parts are done. Now the actual solutions. X1 is complex, real comma imaginary, and x2 is complex, real minus imaginary. Is it clear? I've told you the complex casting operator. You remember or no? In first chapter when we took topic called casting concept we have studied, converting anything to integer, anything to float, anything to string, anything to boolean, anything to complex. So that time these two versions I have told you. I'm sure remembering them. I remember it. I've taught you. One was complex x and another was complex x comma y. So when you write complex x comma y, it's going to create a complex number x plus yj. Means y becomes the imaginary part and x becomes the real part. Okay? Now only one mistake, typing mistake. Done. Now just print these solutions. Irrespective it goes in. If or else or else. Whichever part it goes, just display that solution. Can I write x1 equal to comma x1 slash n, x2 equal to comma x2 equal to comma x2. Whatever that x1 or x2 is, either it has gone in if part or else if or else. If it has gone in if, so this will be x1 x2, otherwise this or this. Whatever x1 x2, it will display on the monitor. Okay? Is it clear? Let's run this. We'll give some values. Like suppose if I give 1 to 1, so do you agree 1 to 1 means both the roots are going to be same? Means is your d going to be 0? Just think, no? What is b square? 4 minus 4 ac. A is 1 and c is 1. So 1 into 1, 1, 1 into 4 is 4. So will it be 4 minus 4? 0. So your solutions will be same, equal solutions. Minus 1, minus 1. Okay? Try to give some other input. Like I'm giving 2, 5, 3 suppose. Okay? What do you say? Will it be negative, positive? Just at least negative means is it going to be a complex number or two positive solutions? Positive nahi, mean two real solutions, not a complex number. Solutions can be negative also, but are you going to get two numbers or two complex numbers?
two numbers.
Huh. Why it is going to be like that?
Oh,
But b square minus 4ac.
yes.
Is that d going to be
It will
positive?
go into the second loop actually.
Second condition,
Yes.
right? This phi is 25, right? B square minus 4ac. So 6 into 4 is 24. So, right, now this is 6 and into 4. So it is going to come positive. So as d is positive, second condition, so you will get that way. Two solutions. And suppose I give another case. Suppose I'm giving 4, 2, 5. So here, sure, it's going to be negative. So you'll get two complex numbers, two complex conjugates. Yes or no? What is b square? 4 minus 4ac. 20 into 4, 80. Getting? So it is negative 76. So negative 76 means it will make it two complex conjugate, real part and the imaginary part. See, this is the real part, this is imaginary part, but this two complex numbers you get. Okay. Anyways, is it clear? So that some more questions will solve.
Yes.
Sure, others also.
Sir, can you please show me the code again?
Sure. Try practicing it. Actually, these are very simple questions. For some, it may be too simple questions, but just to get used to this language, for that too you can try to get comfortable with the syntaxes of Python. Okay. For
Yes.
some, it can be a logic building process also. But try it. Okay. You should do it.
Done, sir.
Okay, moving on to some more questions. Some more pattern printing also will go to, but before that, some more based on the loops and all. So, all the other questions also please try. Each and every one we cannot solve here. Okay. I'll say you solve this one. This one you can try, a menu driven question. Okay, accept two numbers in the variable x and y from the user and perform the following operations. Like check whether the two values are equal, or check whether first is less than second, or print their quotient and the remainder. Okay? Then range to check, take one more value and check whether that value is between this two values which you have accepted already. And interchange, swap two values. Swap means their memory content should be exchanged. Don't fool, you just don't print it in opposite way. So you'll say you'll just print it in opposite, not like that. You have to actually move the content of x memory to y memory and y memory to x memory. Okay? A proper menu driven program you can try. You'll be able to do it.
So means we need to change object reference or values of
Huh. Yes, because indirectly when you swap, the references are only going to swap.
Okay.
References only will get exchanged. Like if you have one object x and you have an object y. Okay. So when you are exchanging, so in reality the data in that memory doesn't swap. They're references. So y will start referring here and x will start referring here. But still we'll say now that x is going to refer to this memory and y is going to refer this memory. Getting? But in Python, swapping is very easy. You can just write in one line x comma y is equal to y comma x, which like in C or in C++ it was not possible. But here such multiple assignment is there na, in Python. Okay, so you can write in one line only. In y I am copying, in x I am copying y, and in y I am copying x. Like in C we were supposed to use a temporary variable. Like in temporary I'll keep x. Getting means whatever is the current value of x I'll keep in temporary. Then in x I'll copy y. Now value of y comes in x, so previous value is lost because this y is going to get replaced over here. But before losing it I have copied in t, and now in y I'll bring t. That old value of x which I had preserved in t, which got lost after copying y, no problem, that copy is there in t, that I'll copy in y. So now the exchange used to take place. But same thing if you do in Python, it will work obviously, but there is no need because Python has given you facility of doing it in one line. But when you are doing one line, internally Python is obviously going to use a temporary, but ease to the coder, programmer is getting so ease कि just write x comma y comma x, the work is done. Okay, so first basically is the question clear to you, right? All of you try it, because many more codes we have to write in the future as we'll go on moving ahead and ahead. The concepts are going to increase now. Okay, these are just structured scripts. These are all structured script, means they are not yet following any programming paradigm, or you can say they are based on the structured scripting paradigm. Now in the next chapter we'll see how we can divide a bigger problem into smaller, and then for each smaller problem we'll write a sub function, that is sub program, and then we'll reuse it, that is procedure oriented coding we'll learn. So gradually the next programming paradigms we have to learn, right? Okay, I'll save this. It was number, I don't know, 17. ठीक है, I'll give it as 17. Okay, first of all we have to accept two integers. I'll give enter x, input, enter x, int, input, enter y. Now two values we have accepted, we have stored it in x and y. Now on this we have to do operations, right? So we will implement a while loop like this, while true. What does while true tell? The true is always true, so it will be as good as like an infinite loop. Then you have to forcibly break it and come out. Okay, now I'll give a prompt message like this, int input, and in that only I'll give a prompt. First option given is equality less than, okay, slash and second, slash and third, quotient and remainder, slash and fourth, range, 5, swap, sixth, exit, and last, enter your choice. If you don't want to type on same line, then use multi-line strings, and I hope you know what are multi-line strings in Python. 3 quote you have to write, single quote, single quote, single quote. They are called as multi-line string. So enter your choice. Here it will be 1-6, ठीक है, string over, input over, and then int casting over, ठीक है. Is it right? If you are simultaneously doing it, well and good, no problem. ठीक है. Just confirmation, give me till here. Is this menu part clear to you?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then coming to next thing. This part is done. Now we'll pass this switch to if, which we do it in C or C++, Java, we pass to switch case. So here we are just going to check it in switch. Now, as I said, 3.9 has introduced one match concept, which is very much similar to switch case. Okay? If possible, at the end I'll show you the syntax also. At the end of the course, I'll show you that syntax also, just for your information. You should know that this latest version has introduced that thing also. Okay? So if choice is 1, so we have to check whether they are equal or not equal. So if x exactly equal to y, print, I'll give a message, x is equal to y. Else print x is not equal to y. Do you agree? Okay. Now similar things in C when we do, so we use printf and then %d and then here x comma y. So that's the reason. Some similar sort of questions you might have done it in other language. But I am giving you just to get comfortable with Python syntax. Getting? Though the questions may be very easy for you guys, but my intention is get comfortable with the Python syntax. Now choice 2 is just to check whether x is less than y. Okay? So I'll check if x less than y, to print x is less than y. Else I'll give a message, x is not less than y. Okay? ELF, if choice is 3, so we have to print just quotient and the remainder. So print quotient equal to, and how do we get quotient? X double slash y, isn't it? I hope you know it. Double slash gives you floor division. No? Do you agree or no, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so if I give 5 by 2, so will it give 2.5 or will it give 2 only? Will it return 2.5 or will it return 2? It will return 2, which is the quotient part only. Okay? And slash n remainder equal to, which I'll say x modulo y. Right? And if you don't want to do it, so there are some library functions which return quotient and the remainder, which we'll learn in the third chapter. In the third chapter, one topic I've separately kept it for built-in functions. So using that too you can do it, or you can use math module, and in that too there are some functions which return quotient and the remainder. ELF choice 4. Now choice 4 is to accept one more value z. Okay? Int input, enter z, and now we'll just check whether z is between x and y. Okay? So can I write statement like this? x greater than equal to z greater than equal to y. नहीं, I did wrong.
It should be less than.
Huh, that's what I got to know my mistake. Huh. But can we write like this? Such chaining operations are there or no
Yes.
in Python? Yes, Python allows you. Such operations are there in other languages, but the behavior is different. Okay, like in C or C++, it won't give error, but the behavior is different. Java, though, it won't allow only because Java doesn't allow you to do such chain operation. Here it's allowed, and here it is true when all are true. Means if x is less than equal to z and z is less than equal to y, when both are true, final true. Okay? Now, if this is coming true, so it indicates that z is between x and y. Okay? Don't bother about the space because in Python, before and after every value, there is a space. Z is not between x and y. Okay? Next is choice is equal to 5. One mistake I did. Here I forgot writing h. Okay? Now choice 5, which is swap. So here what we'll do is before swap, after swap, both will display. See. Before swap, x equal to x. Okay? And y equal to y. Before swap. Then I am going to write x comma y equal to y comma x. And then I'll print after swap. Okay? Done. Now, if someone gives choice as 6, so we'll write break. So is that break going to terminate loop? Yes or no, guys? Will the break terminate loop?
Yes. It will not.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So break never breaks a if. Break always break a loop.
Loop.
And your nearest loop is while loop. So it will come out of that while loop. And else I'm just giving a message, invalid choice, comma ch. That's all. Done. Okay? Is it right, all of you?
Yes.
Just we'll try to test it, whether it is performing all the all operations properly. So first I have to give some values, like x, suppose I'm giving 56 and y I'm giving 45. Okay. Now mod and div, when you'll do quotient and the remainder. So I guess quotient will come 1 only, right? 56 is divisible by 45 once only, and the remainder will be 11, I guess, right? Okay, so answers you should know already. Suppose first you are checking equality, so obviously it will say they are not equal. 56 is not equal to 45, and as it's an infinite loop, so after performing that operation, will it come back again to the beginning of the loop? And when it comes back to the beginning of the loop, again we are printing the menu. Okay, second, is 56 less than 45? No. So that message will come. 56 is not less than 45. Quotient and the remainder. See, quotient is 1, remainder is 11. Range. Okay, so actually range I have given first and second lesser, no? To print range, actually this 56 and 45, the first should be lesser than the second. So what you should do is more foolproof code. When you come to range operation, check whether the first value is greater than the second. If it is, to first swap and take it and then do the activity. You got it, what I'm saying? Whenever you will do the range checking, so inside first check whether the first value is lesser than second. If it is greater, so first you have to swap them and then do the operation. Means make now first value as 45 and second as 56. Okay? In our case, whatever we'll give, it will not work properly because first is greater and the second is lesser. No? Getting or no? See. Sorry, 56 choice name 4 and 57 if I give. Right? So obviously it is not coming in that range. Now swap will take. So swap, it is working fine. Before swap x and y, after swap x and y. And 6 is exit. Okay? But what I said, what you have to do here in case of sorry, directly don't go and check it. First check whether your x is greater than y. If it is, so first swap and take it. xy becomes yx and then do the operation of checking whether they are in the range. You understanding, no? Clear? So only this specific operation will do it. Suppose I am giving first 56 and then 45 and I am checking the range now. Okay? So now it will take the opposite way. So suppose I give 47. So is it giving message 47 is between 45 and 56? Because internally it swapped it and now it is checking. So 47 is between this. Clear? Okay, and 6 exit. Okay. So now many questions are there. You should try it. Some other question will take. Chalo, for example, this 20th one you try. Let's see how you are using if and else and all that things. Then how you are making the use of operators which you have studied in the previous chapter. All that you have to apply here. Okay, you've read the question. Just go through the question first and then tell me. Accept 3 positive integers for date from the user. Okay, that is day, month and year. And check whether the date is valid or invalid. Okay, whether it is valid date or it is an invalid date. Run your program for the following dates. In some samples I have given. So it is saying just please run and check it. So your output is only going to be valid or invalid. Only that much. Okay? So you will input the date and the output should be in the form of valid, invalid. Right? First of all, the month should be in the range 1 to 12. If your month is itself not between 1 to 12, it is an invalid date. That is directly, this is checked. Okay, if month is not between 1 to 12. Okay, but if it is within the range, तो तो every month have their number of days criteria. Yes or no? See, there are some days of 30, some months of 30 days, which are that month 4th, 6th, 9th, and 11th. Is it right, all of you? 4th,
Yes.
which will be April, then after April, June, August, and then last is November. So these months have 30 days. Then 1, 3, 5, 7, 8, 10, and 12. Okay, they have 31 days. And month number 2, that is February, it can have 1 to 28 or 1 to 29, based on whether it's a leap year or not. ठीक है? But first question is कि how to check whether the year is a leap year. Right? So first that criteria is needed. Okay, so I hope you know how to check the year is a leap year. Right? No? So what is the criteria for year to be a leap year? Anyone of you.
If it's divisible by 4,
बस हाँ आदित्य wanted to tell sir, I guess. हाँ
if
बस divisible by 4.
yes.
Only that is the criteria? No, actually it's having some more complex criterias. I'll tell you. Okay? That one divisible by 4 is there, but at the same time it should not be divisible by 100. See, that year, whatever that year is, it is divisible by 4. Okay? But at the same time it should not be divisible by 100. Or this is the one criteria, or it should be divisible by 400. Getting? Like year 1900 was not a leap year. Year 1900 was not a leap year. You can check it. You understanding? Clear? You can find out also. Now, year 1900, why it's not a leap year? Because it is divisible by 4, but it is divisible by 100 also. But whereas the criteria says it should not be divisible by 100. Getting? Now, year 2000 is a leap year, but why year 2000 is a leap year? Though this condition fail, because it is divisible by 4, but at the same time it is divisible by 100 also, whereas they are saying it should not. Okay, so this part fail, but this part satisfy, because 2000 is divisible by 400. You understanding? Why 1900 is not a leap year? If you Google it also, they'll tell you. So 1900 is not a leap year. Why? Because 1900 is divisible by 4, but at the same time it is divisible by 100 also, which ideally it should not be, and it is not divisible by 4000. So this also fail, this 400. So this also fail, this also fail. Therefore it is not leap year. Okay? So first the criteria for leap year is clear to you. Just give me confirmation.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now the idea is clear. So now we can write proper flow code. Okay. I'll save it. Exercise 2, it is 20, I guess. Right? Others also, each and every person has to contribute actually. At least they have to tell that yes or no. Okay? Whether it is convinced, you people are understanding or no. Now, first thing you have to accept day, month, and year. Right? So, day, month, and year. All three values. So, int, input, enter, day. Int, input, month. Int, input, enter, year. Okay? Done. Now first just check. Our main goal is to print valid, invalid. That's all. That output should be in that form. So first check that your month is of 30 days category. That is 4, 6, 9 and 11. Okay? So if your month is 4, 6, 9 and 11, so the number of days are 30. Right? See, I'll tell you. If month in and create a tuple of that month. What is that? 4, 6, 9 and 11. 4, 6, 9 and 11. That is the benefit of Python. Now same thing if you do it in C. You'll write or m equal to 4 or m equal to 6 or m equal, or if you are in C only but using switch case, or you are using Java switch, so you'll use fall through concept like case 4, case 6, case 9, like this. I'm sure you would have done this way, and case 11, and then the common code. Means this whole code will be for all these 4 cases. Right? So such thing is not needed. Here as we have this in operator. Is in applicable for any iterable object? In is used for that purpose only. No? In operator, I hope you remember in the previous chapter. Element in iterable. Yes or no? So any iterable, it can be a set, it can be tuple, it can be dictionary, it can be a list, anything. So it checks whether this element is present in this iterable. Yes, so true, otherwise false. So here also the same thing. That selected month tuple I have created, and it will check whether month is in that tuple. Okay? Yes or no? Convinced all of you?
Yes.
Yes.
So
sir.
now if month is between this 4, so I'll check whether day is between 1 to 30. Okay? See. 1 greater than equal to D. No, I'm again writing. No, correct. No? And less than equal to 30. If your day is now in the range 1 to 30. Say, D is greater than equal to 1 and less than equal to 30. So it is valid, because for this, the day has to be in which range only? 1 to 30. So I'll just print message valid. Otherwise, I'll print message invalid. Why? Because your month is a 30-day month and you have given day which is lesser or more than, less than 1 or more than 30. So it will give a message invalid. Okay? Now coming to the second criteria here. ELF M in, now 31 days month will check. Who are they? 1, 3, 5, 7, 8. 1, 3, 5, 7, 8, 10 and 12. So if your month is in any of that range, so your day has to be in the range 31. Do you agree? Yes. So print valid. I hope you all are hearing me carefully. You are concentrating here. Don't do multiple tasks at a time. Like seeing the score of IPL, at the same time watching WhatsApp update, Insta update, and then simultaneously you are taking some time to see what I am doing here. Don't do all that. Okay? For 1.5 hour, focus here only. Advise. Okay? Okay. So I'm not scolding you. I'm just trying to tell you. Focus here. So this part is clear. This part is clear. This part is clear. Now when M is 2, so it is a February month. Now in February you have to check whether the year is a leap year or no. So if the month is 2, so first you have to confirm whether the year is leap year. So y mod 4 0 and y mod 4 not equal to 0, or y, anyway, like if you don't put bracket then also it's okay because precedence is to whom only, and okay, and y mod 400 equal to 0, any one, either this, sorry, here I wrote very sorry, 100 I was supposed to write. Okay, so now tell me, month is 2 and year is a leap year. Month is 2 and year is a leap year, then the number of days are supposed to be between 1 and 29. Yes, print valid, else print invalid. Clear? And otherwise tell me, if it is not a leap year, but month is February, but year is not a leap year, then the number of days are supposed to be between 1 to 28. So print valid, else print invalid. And finally coming to else of this first if. Now here also direct else invalid. Why? Because your month is not between 1 and 12. See, the month is not in this criteria, or this criteria. So obviously you have entered which month other than 1 to 12. So directly print the date is invalid. Yes or no, all of you?
Yes.
Okay, very good. So now let's run this and check whether it is giving appropriate output. For different dates which they have given as a sample date, 12-10-1984. Okay, so 12-10-1984. But it is valid, no? Our code is giving invalid. Let's see. Or maybe year I have given wrong. But 1984. 12-10-1984 is 1984 divisible by 4. Yes, it is divisible, means it is valid. I might have done something wrong. Just try to check it if you can find out. Tenth month, no?
So in if condition operate, you have put operator, I think. In second if,
Huh.
no, sorry.
Check it. If others can find out, it's okay, because sometimes I may not
I
find.
think in if what is the expression, 1 is greater than equal to d, right? So
Huh.
there should be something else, right?
Because in that case the days are between 1 to 31, no?
So the operator should be greater than or equal to, right?
हाँ तो that's what ना here I've written greater than equal.
No, I think
हाँ means you want to say this operator won't work.
yes, yes.
हाँ it won't do this checking other way. Yes, I got it. Me too have understood it. Like if your days are, it will do the checking in this way. No, that's the reason. Here, this policy won't work. You understanding? This policy won't work because it will check this way: one greater than equal to d. Right? So your day. Either I was supposed to write d greater than equal to 1 and yes, this comes false, no? Because the number of days are how much? 12 I have given. So is 1 greater than equal to 12? Is 1 greater than, no, so false.
No, that's why
That's why it
something
goes
invalid.
here. Clear? Because this policy doesn't work everywhere. Getting? That's the reason they have given you logical and or operators also, no? ठीक है तो no issues, at least we got to know. We have to write like this: d greater than equal to 1 and d less than equal to 30. This way I have to write.
Okay.
D greater than equal to 1 and d less than equal to 30. Same way here also.
So
Greater
what
than.
if we write 1 is less than equal to d, such that kind of, it will it give same output?
1 is less than equal to d. But then the connectivity, how you'll write? Ultimately, this part will come fail. No?
I don't get it.
You are saying कि write like this. You want to say that कि use that chaining only.
Yes, exactly.
But you are writing like this: d
No, the opposite.
less than equal to d and d less than equal to 31.
Yes. It won't work in this case.
No, because if your d is 10, so is 1 less than equal to 10? No, so it comes false only, no? See, if your d is 10, suppose, so is 1 less than equal to 10? Yes, no, but it will work. Right, no? It will work, no? And then d is less than equal to 31. Yes. This will be more appropriate, no? Yes, you are right. See, I can do it this way: 1 greater than, less than equal to d and d less than equal to 31. 31 nahi, sorry, you're 30. Yes, guys, others just please participate.
Yes, sir. Yes.
1 less than equal to d less than equal to 31. Our main intention with this, it could have this, our question will get solved by using and. Our main thing is we want to use this chaining operator. We don't want to leave that part. If this whole code can be done by chaining, why not to do it? Isn't it? So 1 less than equal to d less than equal to 29. And 1 less than equal to d less than equal to, yes, it will work. Why not? Okay, 100%. See, we'll give the input 12, 10, 19, 84. Now it's coming valid. Right? Sometimes we do such silly mistakes. Okay? You got it. Now try to give the other input 32, 10, 19, 20. So that will be obviously invalid. 32, 10, 19, 20. But anyway, day is 32, so it will be invalid. 10, 13, 1984. Month 13, which is not possible. Then next is 29 to 1984. So it should be valid, no? Because 1984 was a leap year. Right, all of you? It is 29 to 1984. So 1984 is a leap year. So in that case, 1 to 29 works perfect. ठीक है? Then next is 29 to 2003. So 2003 is not a leap year. Is 2003 a leap year? No, not at all. ठीक है? So as it's not a leap year, how it can have 29? Isn't it? 29 to 2003. It will give invalid. Final. It is 29 to 1900. This also won't come because 1900 is 1900 a leap year or not a leap year?
It's not a leap year.
Not a leap year. Clear? '29 to 1900 invalid. And any one from your side, if any date is coming in your mind and you just want to check, you can tell me so that we can proceed with some more things. No? Any one date? Any of you? No? Aditya, Bodh Aditya. Gautam. No? I'm waiting for you people. Any one date. Okay, you have typed somewhere in chat window. No.
So to be more precise, can we use that leap year mark in every if statement?
Leap year.
That leap
In-
year if loop.
Leap year if statement.
Can we
Huh.
use it in every if statement?
But why it is needed for every? Because when the month is to only that time the checking is to be done. No? Right or no? Leap year checking is to be done only when month is February. Now if the month is not February, so it doesn't make any difference. No? The year is a leap year or it's not a leap year. If month is not February. Because the year is
but if I give a date which is leap year, but I wouldn't give the month of 2.
so no issues.
Okay.
It will go in this. Let the year be a leap year. Let the year be a leap year. But leap year and non-leap year, other month days are same, no? A leap year
What I
and a
want to
non-leap.
say is, if we are checking date, right, 20 days, 29 and 28, so why we are using that leap year if loop?
Year.
Because we have 29 days in February, if only if that is a leap year.
But leap year checking is to be done only when the month is to February month.
Okay.
Got it, no?
Yeah.
See, when the year is leap year or it's not a leap year, let the year be leap year or not leap year, the other month days are not changing, no? The number of days, that is 1 to 28 or 1 to 29, this is only for February case, when not leap year, leap year. But all other months are going to have same days only, no? Like these months will have 31 only and these months will have 30, irrespective the year is a leap year or not a leap year. Getting, no?
Yes, sir.
हाँ. ठीक है. Anyways, some more questions. Now some questions of loops, more on loops, like you can try. First very basic question I'll give you.
Sir, in assessment 1, there is a question um, if we have a 20 rupees, then how many ones coins or 5 coins or 10 notes will distribute?
Huh. Huh.
So,
The denominations are to be
yeah,
printed.
so we have to use some permutation combination kind of that.
No, like just mod and div operator.
Okay. So I was
That's all,
unable
no?
to, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I will try it.
Like if it is a 23 rupee, so first you'll just divide by 10 and take the quotient. So 23 divided by 10, the quotient will come 2. So it is saying 10 rupees, how many are needed? 2.
Two.
Now the remainder is 3. So 3 you will divide by 5. So no quotient. So 5 rupees, 0 note. Now remainder is 3. And 3 when you divide by 1, so that is last 3. So 3 rupees, how many? 3 only. Getting, no? So 23,
Yeah, got it.
10 rupees 2 coin, 5 rupees 0 coin, and 1 rupee 3 coin.
Theoretically, I did the same, but I thought there must be any formula for it.
No, that is like if they tell you to find the optimum number of coins and all, so
Okay.
you have to use some strategy, algorithm strategy. Getting, like greedy method or dynamic programming. If they tell you to find out the optimum number of coins, with minimum coins, the amount should be created. Then you can use knapsack method and all.
Okay.
Like if you have studied somewhere in design analysis and all. You have done engineering or
Yes, I had an engineering.
so you're computer engineering?
Yes.
So you might be having one subject called design analysis
Yes.
of algorithm.
Yes, we had.
Now these people, these other students also, those are from PG and all, they might also have done different strategies. So there is one greedy strategy and one greedy algorithm called knapsack, and using that you can do coin change problem, it's called as. But if the question is like that, you find the change with minimum coin, with minimum number of coins, I have to form that amount, then it is okay. Here just I wanted denominations, that's all. Okay, moving to the next thing. Now, quite simple question, that there are many patterns, few, as much we can do it, other you people can try whenever you get time. Okay, and while solving, if you have difficulty, you can ask me, no issues. Okay, the first one, quite simple. Here we have to accept n, and then depending on n, print a box of that many stars. Like if I give n as 5, so it should display 5 by 5 star box. Okay, take the benefit of string repetition. I hope you know in Python, when you write one string and one number and you multiply it, it does the repetition, isn't it? Is that facility in Python? Like if I write double quote star multiplied by 5, so is it going to repeat this string 5 times? Yes or no? Others also, others please interact.
Yes, it will do.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
It will, yeah.
Right or no? We have discussed this in the first chapter. If one string multiplied by a number, the string is repeated that many times. So take the benefit of this and try to do it. Like n you can accept from the user, but for time being I am initializing it with some constant value. Getting? Now can I use for loop like this? For I in range n. Is it? Means ultimately this for loop will go for 5 times only. Actually this range function, range n, will it return one iterable? Yes or no, guys? Range function, does it return one range object, a object of class range only, which is a iterable object, in which there will be sequence of values from 0 till n, and then this loop will go for each value in that sequence. First time 0 is copied, then 1 is copied, then 2, then 3, then 4, and then it will stop, right? So instead of writing that, I've used this range n, because range n is going to return you that iterable. It's going to return you one iterable in the value 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, because our n is 5. I am writing generalized code. Now you'll say already n is 5, so why you are not right? This loop I am making generalized. Later if you want, you can just change n. This code you don't have to change, right? And here if I write double quote star into n only, so n times I am going to repeat whom? Star n time. N is 5, so star is repeated 5 times. But this whole thing will happen how many times? Star repeated 5 times, so 5 star. But next time again 5 star, next time again 5 star. This will happen how many times? N time. Getting? Now the same thing if someone tells you to do it in C, obviously you'll write a nested for loop. A loop within a loop. Isn't it? Inner loop will print 5 star and outer loop will keep the count of that lines. But here we can take this string repetition benefit. Isn't it? Clear? Are you convinced with this or no? The logic.
Yes.
So
Yes.
later if I change, now here I am hardcode initializing it, but you people can accept it from the keyboard and do it. See, as I've made n as 7, the loop is same, but it will print 7 by 7 star. Okay? Then, what do you say about this one? Like if line number is 1, 1 only n time, 2 only n time. Like n depends. Like if n is 5, so line number 1 is printed 5 times. Line number 2 only printed 5 times. Line number 3 only 5 times. Can you make any changes in this previous code only? This code only. Right? I hope others are hearing me carefully, because others are very silent. There's no interaction from others.
So we can cast n into string and
Yes,
modify
yes.
that.
Clear. And then again use this string repetition only. N equal to 5 I'll write. Whatever n, it's up to you. Then the for loop I'm writing. But only the thing is here this for loop will go from 1 till n plus 1. Purposely. Why? Because if I take it n, so what will be I for the first time? Will it be 0 or no? Clear? So suppose here I write I into star, I cannot write. Sorry, I into n. If I do I into n, it will do the literal multiplication of two numbers. I want that I should get repeated n time. So I have to convert that I to string. Okay, so casting, I hope you know it. In the previous chapter, we have studied the casting concept. So str of I, and then that I converted to string, and then string repeated how many times? N time. Okay, but here what will happen? It will print 0 5 times, 1 5 times, 4 5 times. See, it will print 0 5 times, 1 5 times, 2 5 times. Okay, so I don't want to start with 0, I want to start with 1. That's the reason I'm writing 1 comma n plus 1, because you know that when you write range n, so it will start from 0 till n minus 1. Now it will start from 1 till n minus 1. But what is n minus 1? N. Because here you have written n plus 1. So will it stop at n? If n is 5, so here it is 6. So will it stop at 5? Yes. Okay? Hope it is clear. Right now, all of you. So what about this? If I want to display, like n is given 5, n is 5. So I want to display 1 to 5, 1 to 5, 1 to 5, 5 times. If n given is 6, so 1 to 6, 1 to 6, 6 times. So in this, can we take the benefit of string repetition, or there is no option, you have to write a nested loop? What do you say? Means nested loop is needed only? No? Something tell, at least you should respond. In every line we have to display 1 to 5, 1 to 5, 1 to 5. So this number is changing. So obviously one inner loop will be there, which will vary from 1 till n. And this whole activity you have to do how many times? N time. Okay. So there is no option, you have to use what? A nested loop. See, for I in range n. Now outer loop job is to keep the count of lines. See carefully what I am saying. Outer loop work is to print, to keep count of number of lines, whether that many lines are done or no. Inner loop will print the digits from 1 till n. See, 1 till n plus 1. So inner loop J will print from 1 till n. N plus 1 is exclusive. N plus 1, the last is exclusive. So till n. So 1 till n digits are printed by inner loop. But that 1 till n how many times? Outer loop times. Outer loop time is going n time. Right? See, print J. But just take care that use end equal to empty string. Otherwise, what will happen? It will print that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the separate line. Because you know, default print at the end puts a new line. Okay? So as end is an empty string, so it will print 1, 2, 3 on the same line. And after 5 is over, inner loop over. When inner loop over, it will come here, and here we will put a new line. Getting? I hope you got it. Like, will the loop be like this? Like for the first time, I is how much? 0. Then it will come to inner loop. Then J will start from 1 till 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. After that, this inner loop over. It will come to outer loop. Outer loop, I will become 1. Again come inside loop. Then the inner loop will again start from 1 till 5. Getting? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inner loop over, again come to outer loop. This will go on. ठीक है? See, is it displaying 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5? Yes or no? ठीक है. Then can we make change in this code only to display this code? Here which we were displaying now, that 1 only n time, 2 only n time, 3 only. Instead of that, if I want to display A n time, B n time, C n time, D n time, C H R n time. Can you? Others also try. Only Anjali and then Gautam selected React. Others, Gauri, Rohini, both Aditya. You're there or no? Or Aditya is watching IPL? He has just logged here and his whole concentration is there. No. Okay, this Aditya is saying no, sir. I'm here only. And Aditya is saying no, sir. I'm not here. I'm watching IPL. Everyone has to participate. Think. Others also. Good. ठीक है. Quickly. Any change in this code? Like here 1 1 1 2 2 2 3 3 3. In that only can we make some change? What do you say? See, can I do like this? N equal to phi, right? For I in range n, print. I hope you remember there was one library function called CHR. Had I told you in the previous chapter while solving assignments only, one CHR and one ORD. If you remember, just tell me. If you're absent on that day, I don't know. But I've told you one function called CHR, function called ORD.
Yes, sir.
Yes, no?
Yes.
CHR, because in the previous assignment, one program we had solved. Take a character and print the next character and the previous character. Right?
Yes.
So CHR takes a Unicode and returns a character. And ORD takes a character and returns its Unicode. Getting? Okay. So here can I write 65 plus I into n? Now can you tell me what is I for the first time?
It will be 0.
0. So
Zero.
65 plus 0 is 65.
Yeah.
Isn't it? 65 plus 0 is 65. 65's CHR, is it capital A?
Yes.
And capital A into 5, that is n. So is it repeating A 5 times? Yes or no? Then next time I is 1, so 65 plus 1 is 66. 66 CHR is B into n. N is 5. So is it going to repeat B 5 times? Yes. So this way you'll get the output. So in that only you have to make the modifications and try to solve such patterns. Yes. So I'll share this file also, the first file, normal assignments also, this pattern file assignment. It is up to you. Whenever you get time, try to solve it. It is just for logic building. Clear? And if you're facing problem with any of the one, you can ask me. Okay? Many are there. Whenever you get time, please solve it. Just in a spare time, you can do it. Okay? So, as we did this. So, same with this, you can try with this question. The one which we did using nested loop. Okay? Can we take that benefit of that same nested loop and try to do this one? Yes. See, we did it with this nested loop. Okay, same nested loop, only the difference is instead of j going from 1 till n plus 1, you can take j also till n only. Means j also will go from 0 till n minus 1, I also 0 to n minus 1. And here, instead of printing j, print CHR of 65 plus j. Do you agree? What do you say? Is the nested loop going to work in this way? I equal to 0 and j also from 0 till 4. Next time I will be 1, but j again from 0 till 4. And every time 65 is added. No? So 65 plus 0 is 65. 65 plus 1 is 66. 65 plus 2 is 67. So A, B, C, D, E, F. A, B, C, D, E, F. This way it will come. No?